Morning, everyone. It's 9:30, so we'll begin our work session. Today's date is Friday, January 21st of 2022. Let me find our work session. Okay, our first item on the work session is our auditor's report.
I don't have anything.
All right. The next item is our treasurer's report.
Okay, Judge, I have, I wanted to discuss with the court because, COVID's come a little bit back again. And I wanted to ask the court, because I've had a lot of elected officials, have people out and stuff. So I didn't know how last year the court granted 80 hours to the employees due to COVID for a one-time deal. And like if they've had COVID last year, they got 80 hours, and if they got it again, or some family member, they still just got the 80 hours. So I didn't know if y'all wanted to continue, or do you want them to use up their sick, or how y'all wanted to handle that? As of right now, what I've been telling everybody is the court hasn't given me directions, so y'all do, as elected official, what you want to do, so.
Well, it's what I told one of my guys that got type A and type B flu and COVID. And we sent everybody home for a few days. I said, we're just gonna play it like we did last year. And I'm gonna talk to the judge and tell him that we need to do something for them. Since
I think we've had, quite a few.
we've had a couple guys.
We've had complete offices be out and stuff like that. So, and I hate for us to not give them something.
And now it's, it's reduced to, 5 or 6 days?
Mhm.
So, if y'all wanted to do 1 week, whatever y'all think.
What was it before Ida?
It was 80 hours. One time, 80 hours.
Because we had to do 10 days
Once
back
you go
then.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we wanna keep doing that. The 10 days, I think most everybody else has cut that back to like 5.
Mhm.
Yeah.
40 hours.
And I think we need to cut it, in my opinion, I think we need to cut it back from what it was. They do need something, but I think that'd be.
40 hours. Well, I know when the one guy that got,
Because so many people are vaccinated now, and though they still get it, they're not, as a rule, getting near
Yeah.
sick and lasting as long, so. in my-
Well, I'll be asking the court on Monday just to give me directions
Okay.
so that at least we know how to handle that part.
Now, are the guidelines, I know it's 5 days if you're vaccinated.
Yes.
What if you're not vaccinated? Is it still 5 or is it still
I think
10?
it's 10.
Okay.
It's 10.
well, see, they told my guy
I think
with
that's
all
right.
that stuff, he had to stay home 14 days. And I still ain't seen him back because he still sounds like death won't know.
When Jesse was in my office and we had some test positive, or I had one test positive on that day, he called Jack, and that's what Jack said, non-vaccinated, 10 days, vaccinated 5, and then if they come back, they have to wear a mask for 5 days.
Okay. I'll have that printed out for everybody on Monday. Get on the computer and get it all printed out, and so we can decide.
I heard a neat twist on this, on what some companies are doing now, that you may have heard or not. But of course, they want their employees vaccinated, and a lot of people don't want to be vaccinated, which, I don't think anybody ought to be forced to take it myself, but these companies, they're starting to penalize their employees by taking money out of their checks if they're not vaccinated, like $100 a paycheck or something.
Oh.
Well, and some of them even losing their jobs over there.
Yeah, I know the medical field,
Medical field, if you didn't
Yeah.
take a religious deal or
Exemption,
something,
yeah.
And they don't always prove them.
My daughter,
Okay.
unfortunately, got one.
Well, if y'all will think about that over the weekend, maybe do a little checking, and like I say, I'll get the CDC guidelines printed out so we can have those to look at. So, the only thing is if we lower it, then you're sort of, the ones that aren't vaccinated, they're not gonna be able to come back or they're gonna have to use more than 40 hours to be gone. So, okay, do you have anything else on it?
Yes, sir. I also have the 2022 laboratory services agreement with Covenant Hospital. And honestly, those, we did it once when we hooked up with Covenant Hospital, well, when they took over the clinic, Judge, on 24th Street, where we have our testing for new employees. We have also the,
Random.
yeah, the random, I was thinking of the tech stop.
Okay.
And also our workers' comp cases go to there. So I'm just gonna ask the court to allow the judge to sign the renewal. We haven't had to do another one, but when I got the email, it's because they have a new software system and they're having to redo all their contracts again.
Okay.
So that's, I'll be asking for that.
Now, is this the same place we also use, like if one of our employees is involved in an accident or something?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Unless it's emergency when you send them to the
ER,
hospital.
okay, all right. Okay, any questions of Ida over that? Okay. The next item we have on the agenda today is, or my items, have a fourth quarter report from EMS out of UMC. They had 22 responses, 10 within the designated area, 12 outside the designated area. UMC EMS responded 6 times to Petersburg and 6 times to Hale Center, which are outside the designated response time. The 2021 EMS responses for UMC, they had 61 responses, 27 in the designated area and 34 outside the designated area. And so that's their report for the fourth quarter. Then I have Health Center EMS December 2021 report. They had 4 transfers, 35 EMS calls, 22 within the city, 13 out of the city, for a total of 35 total calls with 8 no transports. They had 27 billable runs. Their financial statement shows that, let's see, I always say I'm gonna look at that before I come in here and I never, okay, they had income of $16,506.25. They had expenses $20,655.60 for a net outcome of a negative $4,149.35. Okay, the next item I have will not be on Monday's agenda because it was inadvertently put on there. Health Center EMS had some work done by Clear Sky Electric, and it got on our agenda, but Jesse did some checking yesterday for us, and it was an EMS purchased a Shoreline plugged into the ambulance to keep medicine at proper temperature, and a 220 plug to be able to use their dryer. The Health Center City Council paid that expense, so it shouldn't have been put on our agenda. So it's, like I say, it's not on there for Monday, so we won't take any action and it won't even be on there. The next item I had was to discuss and approve the Secretary of State agreement concerning this is the same thing. We approved the audible voting machines, but I had left off the resolution, and so Jim said that I needed to have it all on there. So we'll vote again on the automated voting machines, but this time I'll read the resolution and y'all can decide if you're going to approve that and allow me to sign it. So, and then the last item on my list is the American Rescue Committee. We met again. The final report did come out. And what I'd like to do, if it's all right with y'all, let's just wait until Monday to go over this, because I'd like Jim to be here, because I don't want to quote you things that aren't true. I would certainly not tell you anything that I knew was not true, but I just want to, he actually read the report, the entire document, and he knows how. But to cut to the chase, what they did is they went back and said that if you're going to receive less than $10 million, that rather than have to justify along those protocol lines on how you can spend the money, that you can just use that money all as lost revenue and account for it that way, which Jim says we need to because it makes the bookkeeping and stuff a lot cleaner. You don't want to, even though we may buy some things that would fall under the guidelines, then from a bookkeeping standpoint, we want to use it all as lost revenue. And I've also talked to Alan at TAC, and he said that's the way to do it, because he said if you count it as that, he said you got a report to file in October, and you got to file a report next October, and then he said once you're done with the funds, you're done. And so,
We have one in April, but we're supposed to fall.
okay, you might visit with him. I talked to him yesterday, and he said if you went with the all revenue deal, that you wouldn't have a report till October. So you might call him and see. Okay. But anyway, if it's all right with y'all, what we decided from the committee standpoint, we went through and we looked at different things, and we basically have made a list of things that we've talked about. Of course, it'll be the court's final decision on how to expend the funds. So I'm hoping Jim, well, I know Jim will be there Monday because he has items on the agenda for Monday. So we'll discuss that further on Monday. Okay? Any questions about that? All right. The next item on today's agenda is from the sheriff's office.
Good morning. I'll have personnel to hire. Also, we had to replace a unit up on top of the building, a heating and air unit, at a cost of $9,200. Our Mentalix, which is our APIS machine, our fingerprint machine, is due for its yearly maintenance agreement at $4,590. And our jail doctor, Dr. McCrory's contract is up. I've been talking to him. He has gone up on us from $25,000 to $38,000 a year. We haven't visited on this contract since 2018 when he started. $38,000 is still a lot cheaper than hiring a company to come in there. You're looking at $180,000 to $190,000 for that. With this, we have 24-hour access to Dr. McCrory. He talks to him throughout the night, throughout the day, with anything.
He's
It's
done a
really
pretty good
worked out
job
good.
for you out there, hasn't he?
He's done a real good job. For whatever reason, the PD arrests somebody and takes them to the ER for whatever reason, then he's already calling Mindy if they have to come to jail, letting them know what's gonna happen, where we need to be and everything. So I'll present that tomorrow.
How many personnel are you talking about for Monday that you're hiring?
Oh, I think it's 3, Kenny.
Well, of course, the new pay schedule's gone into effect. Do you think that's helping you a little bit?
Bless you.
Thank
It
you.
is.
We're fixing, we've got some things planned, they're making up some flyers, we're fixing to take around to Floyd County, Lamb County, Abernathy, Petersburg, and we're gonna put flyers up on the city offices, try to get some jailers.
Good, okay.
So, yes, we've gotten 2 or 3 real good employees in the last couple of weeks.
So, okay, any questions of the sheriff? All right. Our next item on today's agenda is our emergency management coordinator, Jesse Mendoza.
I'll make this real brief. Johnson Controls called me, because we haven't been calling them very often. So they called him, they wanted to come down and do an operational maintenance. And so.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, bless their hearts, they came down and spent all day looking at things and checked a few things, and the bottom line was they didn't like the way that we had installed a pressure regulator in the boiler room. And so, and I made a copy of it of what their report says, and we just pass it around instead of me trying to explain everything to you, and I highlighted it for you. That was their final comment, was it wasn't the right regulator. Of course, Caprock did that because we had called him to come do that a while back. But I rechecked again with Leighton and Larry at Caprock, and they said, no, that is the right pressure regulator. And it says on the boiler, there's a serial plate, and that's what it needs, and that's what it takes, and we replaced the very same one that we've had for years and years and years. So I was just trying to point that out to you, and but there's a copy for y'all of Johnson Controls report on that one. And so that's that part of it.
Okay.
And the second part is, we've been having problems with that boiler pump downstairs in the basement, for it. The noise was getting louder and louder. The fear of if it went out, we wouldn't have any heat. So we ordered one. They came and replaced it Monday, it's on the 17th when we had a holiday, so it didn't. They would have to shut the system down. So there, it took a few hours to get that done. So we're good to go, and it's real quiet in the basement. And I have that quote from Caprock. It's like $4,200 or so to get that done. And it'll make our system work better, more efficient, and it's not gonna break down on us.
There you go. There you go, Chris. Okay, any questions of Jesse?
I just have a comment. I want to thank Jesse for doing what he does. He's done a good job stepping up and overseeing this. There's a lot to do here, and it's pretty time consuming. He's done a great job with it. Thank
He
you,
has,
Jesse.
yeah, I appreciate it.
That's all, thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Yes, sir.
Okay, and that concludes. Now, I will tell you, just to throw this out there, one of the things the committee was going to recommend was to replace the HVAC system here in this building. And Jesse and I have visited with a couple companies, and one of the new technologies that they have is they come in and they install individual units in like each room, and each room has its own unit and it has its own filter, and there's not as much shared air among the building. And so we have talked to, well, we've listened to Johnson Control and Anthony Mechanical, and both of them are capable of installing the devices. And so one of the things I think we were going to ask the court to consider was to go out for proposal on those units. And
Well, and this is just a personal observation from being here so long. But personally, I have no confidence in Johnson Control. They're a lot better writing out invoices than they are servicing their equipment or anything. And we've seen too many incidents where they'll come over here for a simple repair and send two people over here, charge you mileage on trucks for both ways, and my experience with them hadn't been good at all.
okay, now if we'd go out for proposals, we would certainly open those proposals up to anyone with the capability of doing what we are asked. And so, those are just some of the local ones that we have visited with. So, we may, a job of that size, we may have interest from other places to do that. So, anyway, I like I said, I thought I'd throw that out there. So, I'm looking at Monday's agenda. Melinda, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, just regular stuff. Ida will ask us to approve her financial statement and affidavits and investment portfolio.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then, let's see here. Commissioner of Precinct 3 has an announcement to make that we'll vote no on. So.
I'll third that.
And then item number 8 is our county attorney. We're going to meet back in closed session to pursuant to government code for us to talk with our attorney relative to personnel matters, or considering pending litigation or settlement offer, and also to discuss an offer for financial or other incentives to a business prospect that is currently seeking to locate, stay, or expand in or near Hale County. So, if there's nothing else, then we'll stand adjourned this morning. Appreciate y'all being here. Have a good